Welcome to the Rebel News channel. Today we're gonna do a full review of the Vader's Vault flags. So let's delve into it. And welcome back. So we start with a closer look of the Vader's Vault flags. I'm first going to show you some quick close-up views and then go a little bit more in depth in what is what part and what it does. Start with the middle section. It has the KR Saber's blade plug with the regular metal finish, not the brass finish. We have the bunny ears. Now, first thing you have to keep in mind, this is of course a Korriban / Park Sabers Graflex 2.0 kit, which has been modified and altered by Vader's Vault and having the electronics installed by Vader's Vault as well. So let me start with the middle section a little bit more in depth. So what we got here is the activation switch. This is a button. Once you push it, it will take the saber out of deep sleep mode, and pushing again will ignite the saber plasma. And the bunny ears are a loose piece that pivot on this pin that goes through the body here of the top section of the Graflex, and then these bunny ears actually pinch together like so, depending on what you push in here. So if I push a blade in there, it will extend and it will decline depending on what is pushed in there. And when I push some blade inside, it will actually push the pins together. Now Vader's Vault has an option where they can grind down some of these ears, some of these pins here. I believe these two on the side, and once that is done, the Graflex ears will not pinch together when the blade is inserted. I didn't opt for that option. I just left it as it is. I'm not too bothered personally with it. It might be that's something that you don't like and therefore you want to upgrade. It has the pins on the side, or the connectors. There was initially on the original Graflex for electronics. And then we have the retention screw nicely on the bottom. So let me just undo it. So this keeps the blade in place, or the blade plug. See, it's just a nice heavy button, does not click or something. And then you can see a part of the 1-inch blade holder from Vader's Vault. You can see it here. So now, currently the blade plug is still held in place by these ears, so it will freely float in this area, but it won't fall out because of this. So you have to pinch the ears together, hold the Graflex upside down and pinch it, and then the blade plug will fall out. This is the KR Sabers Graflex blade plug, very nice blade plug by the way. Put it aside, and you can see the inside, deep socket, at least 2 inches deep. It has RGB, so you see the RGB. Oh, let me adjust the camera. Let me get a light so I can show the inside. So here we go. So you can see the 1-inch adapter plus the RGB LED by Vader's Volt. Now when you receive the Graflex set, this is of course a Graflex set made by Korban / Spark Sabers. It will not per se come without blemishes or some dents or scratches. That is just the way it is. It's a mass-produced real Hilt run by a company based in Taiwan. So this is not really something to blame to Vader's Volt, but you will receive most likely some sort of scratches, like say on this clamp card section here, or some imperfections, small imperfections, like where the emitter section was cut, some nicks here and there. Not too bad though. You have to keep in mind this kind of alloy is kind of scratch magnet, so you have to be gentle with it. It can scratch up. So we have a retention screw here, and that is for the shroud to keep the and the blade holder, to keep the blade holder in place. Some people like to replace that for a more accurate screw. Same for the blade retention screw, depending on what version of the flex you choose for. Maybe glass eye or maybe something else. Same for the beer lid tab in the original Graflex configuration from The Empire Strikes Back and New Hope, etc. This was actually a beer lip. Like when you drink a beer, you take off the lip of the can and they place that here. And same for the button here. It's not a beer lid can, but I mean, there is a lot of improvements to be made. You can buy these different items from, for example, Wanga Wanga or some other suppliers like KR Sabers, and from the Graflex Facebook group, there are some suppliers there. You can make your Graflex more accurate by having this replaced or this replaced. The Graflex clamp for gold card, for example, or bubble strip or whatever. And same for the pommel, having a non-vented Graflex stamped pommel. There's so many options out there to make it more accurate. The different clamp parts here, different rivets and whatnot. Anyway, there's a tons of options available to make this even more accurate than it already is. For me, I'm good. This is fine for me. So we go over to the midsection. You have the clamp card. You can just undo it, and then you can take out this piece here. I'm gonna leave it in there. I just don't want to mess with it, to be honest. Sweaty hands, so that will reflect a little bit on the hilt. Sorry about that. Same for this screw. You can have this screw replaced for a more accurate screw. Either way, on the Graflex kits, what you will do, you will undo this lever, then you can unscrew this section here, and then you can access your 3D printed chassis or whatever you place in there. Maybe you want to have a crystal review or whatnot. Normally you will access that way, but since this is a Vader's Volt and Vader's Volt used a Delrin CNC machined chassis, we access the electronics from the bottom. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna undo the pommel. This piece here, this D-ring, is actually from the Custom Saber Shop. So if you wonder where to buy one, you can just grab one from there. It's the exact same D-ring. So what is a little bit different, I'll start off with the pommel, is this insert here, this ring. I don't think you can get that standard on your 2.0 kit if you just buy it from Korban's or Parks. This is something that Vader's Vault added, and this is to protect the speaker. As you can see, the pin sticking out here is not flush, and this basically pushes in the speaker without the speaker, the mid-sectional speaker being penetrated by this screw. And it also makes it easier to put in the whole Delrin chassis by just screwing in this section, the pommel back, and then it will push back the Delrin into its home. So this is the inside. Let me get a light. So this is the inside. This is the new Vader's Vault 22mm speaker, and it's way louder than the original one, than the 20mm speaker. I highly recommend, if you have a Vader's Vault with a 20mm speaker, have it replaced for this one. It's so much louder, it's crisper, and it's a lot, it looks like a lot more solid constructed than the original one, which had this like soft, yeah, I'm not sure what it is, like a fabric textured body here. I don't know how to call this, sorry, but this is like a plastic or something, and it looks a lot sturdier than the original one, because the original one on my Acolyte actually broke on me. It's totally ripped apart, so I have to have it replaced. I actually gonna send it back, let Vader's Vault install this 22mm speaker, which actually means that the Delrin chassis had to be replaced, so it will have some cost involved, but I do think it's worth. And then you see the rivets bolted in from the side. You see those black pieces, those are plastic inserts that covers the holds the chassis in place. Now the CNC chassis is here, the Delrin chassis is here in the middle, and then around that you see this gray ring. That is actually to keep that Delrin chassis snuck into place, so there's no let's say Velcro or something. This is a proper way to keep the outer diameter in proportion to the Delrin chassis. To take the chassis out, we have to use some force. I had to do that off screen because it's quite tough to get it out. So this is a chassis, we have seen it before. 18650 3.7 battery by Trustfire, 2400 mAh. It has the nano it has the Crystal Shard 3.0 with a 4GB micro SD card. You can see close up a few of the 20mm speaker, and in the bottom the cable on this Graflex is quite tight. I cannot pull it out more than this, so I cannot show you the inside because the silver, the gray ring around it, so it doesn't allow to show you guys the braided wiring, but believe me, it's braided and it's done very nicely and snug. So let's put it back. To put it back, it's a little bit of a puzzle. You need to find the right place to put it into, because otherwise it won't go in. I don't know what's that, but there's something behind it that does not allow it to go in so easy, to be honest. So sometimes a little bit tricky and annoying at times. No, actually I just saw why it's not going in. Sometimes this soundboard, the Crystal Shard, is actually hitting the silver part by the edge on the left side. So you have to straighten the sound card slightly to get these Delrin chassis to go back inside. So once you place it inside, you don't want to touch the speaker, so that's why you're going to use this black part on the pommel. You just screw on the pommel, and once you screw on the pommel, you have to be careful with these threads. Sometimes the threads on these Graflex sets can be a little bit rough or have some burrs, and you don't want to have it have the threads, you know, breaking on you. So take your time when you put it on. So take your time to put on the pommel. If you feel it resistance or you feel it's not on straight, just don't push any force on it. Just do it very slowly, and that will ensure you that you don't break the threads on it by screwing in the pommel in an angle or something and then messing up the threads. I use the D-ring to turn it around. It's a little bit easier. I just go for hand snug, so I don't go very hard. That's it. I don't have to have it super tight. And let me put in a blade plug real quick. Put this one back. Also, when you put this one back, be gentle, do it slowly, don't mess up the threads. Take your time. So make sure it's straight. Because these threads are not are okay. They're good, but I mean they're not the strongest and maybe not always the cleanest threaded part. So you need to be a little bit gentle with these kind of kits. And that's it. And then we have the aux switch. That's basically for blaster shield sounds or auxiliary sounds, basically secondary sounds once the sabers ignited. So let me just quickly ignite it and show it to you guys. This is the Bespin sound font from Mad Cow, I believe. Let me just turn it on. The KR Sabers blade plug works really good. It does not allow any of the very sharp light to blind your eyes. It's actually a very comfortable blade plug. You can just look in it with your eyes without hurting your eyes at all. So let me just show you some blast effects. Pushing it once gives you a blaster sound. Keeping it hold in, it will have like a door cutting or saber lockup sound. Really depends on the sound font. Changing colors on the fly. Holding the auxiliary button and the ignite button at the same time, pushing them at the same time. And basically you can choose from a lot of colors. If you have RGB, you can have configured up to 8 different color settings per configuration. You can change the settings on the computer of the SD card in the config file, which I will show in a different video. And then you can have offset colors different from the standard colors that the Saber comes with, and then actually modify it. So I did that, for example, for the blue. I modify it to have a light blue because the Saber came with a standard RGB blue color, but it was much darker than I wanted. And I will also adjust the mint green, etc. So we will do that in a separate video, so you guys have a little bit of a better idea about that. So here you go, guys. I hope you like the close-up view. Let's go to the verdict area. And welcome back. So I hope you like the close-up view of the Vader's Vault Flex. This hilt is amazing. Even if you're not able to participate in a Vader's Vault Flex run, or have your flex or your Graflex being converted by Vader's Vault, which is actually a separate service they have. So although they don't do the Vader's Vault Flex run now, you can send in your flex kit and they will convert it to a Vader's Vault standard Graflex. So that's pretty cool. Costs around $325 US. So if you're in the market of having a Vader's Vault Graflex, send yours to them and they will sort you out. Now I want to first start off with the hilt. So this is, of course, you already know by now, the Korban / Park Sabers hilt. It's a fantastic hilt run. I highly recommend you to jump on one. Just get one. Just get it as a prop, as an empty. Keep it empty if you don't want to do any electronic install. It's still fantastic to play with. If you do installations yourself, this is a perfect do-yourself project, because there's quite a bit of stuff you need to do to it in order to make it, for example, dual ready or accept 1-inch blades. There's a lot of stuff that can be done to it, and that's so amazing. When you look all these YouTube reviews about the Graflex kit, you see so many different configurations by different people. People putting the aux switch here, people putting the main switch here, people putting the main activation button on the bottom, for example, or they put the glass eye on there to make the TFA conversion, or they make the new Hope conversion, the bubble strip, or they try to mimic the prequel series Anakin Hilt, but with changes. There are tons and tons of options. People having configurations where they put the battery here. People have configuration where they put the battery here, and a crystal review, or just a simple 3D printed chassis, or a Delrin chassis, or a PVC chassis. It's amazing to see how intuitive people are and what direction they go in when they install the electronics in the Hilt. It's really amazing. There's so many small differences. People have, for example, a closed pommel, not sounded for vent, and then use the holes on the sides from the clamp card to vent out the sound with, for example, rivets that has hole in them. It's amazing, really. You should check it out and see all the differences. It's for me, it's a lot of fun to watch. I watch nearly every review on YouTube that I can find. It's just absolutely fun to watch and see all the takes that people have on installing the electronics and whatnot. But back to the Vader's Vault. Complete set, full experience out of the box. In my case, RGB sound with a 22mm speaker, which is loud as heck. It's super loud. I love it. I really love it. Nothing sounds muffled. Everything is crisp, nice. Now, normally with my Vader's Vault Acolyte, when I, for example, hold it like this, the sound is shooting out straight directly that direction. So it sounds a little bit muffled from here, and it sounds a little bit soft. And when I turn it to my direction, then it's super loud. But still, it's with a 20mm speaker from Vader's Vault. That's a massive difference. And I'm gonna send in my Vader's Vault Acolyte to actually have it upgraded to the 22mm Delrin chassis that can hold that 20mm speaker, because it's fantastic. I highly recommend it. Everything is on there. The saber is super sturdy, super snug. Nothing rattles, nothing is loose. The bunny ears are nice and tight. They don't rattle around in the socket. Everything is nice and tight. There is no excessive glue on this part, for example, where the connector pins are. Everything is nice and solid. Really nothing to complain. The grips are straight. The grips are even angled directly with this board here. So it's really nice, aesthetically pleasing looking part, because a lot of people try to line it up correctly. Vader's Vault already done that, and basically it's just fantastic. It's the Corband / Park Saber's Hilt, so definitely the Hilt is not enhanced, or the quality is not enhanced of Vader's Vault, but they bring it to their standard, and it feels as a very solid product, which the Graflex the Graflex kits already is by itself. As I said before, there are some small blemishes, scratches back and forth. That is what it is. These are mass produced in Taiwan by Park Sabers. They might not always come out very clear. So that being said, it is what it is, and yeah, I mean, what to do about it. Just shortly covering the weight as well. The weight is very hefty and nice. I really like this weight to it. It's a lot heavier than any saber that I ever handled so far. It's like at least twice as heavy, and that's mainly because of that 1-inch blade holder that is insert here. That is I think it's trademarked. I think it's trademarked to Vader's Vault. Vader's Vault, I believe, one of the few companies that make a 1-inch blade holder, if not the only one. So in general sense, it's an amazing saber. Let me fire it up really quickly. I set it to the Bespin 2 sound font. I like the Bespin sound font the best. It's classic. It has a nice startup and shutdown. I like the clash of swings. It's just yeah, pleasing to me. I like it a lot. It comes with the standard darker blue. I'm gonna change it out for the lighter blue because for the Empire Strikes Back I want to have a lighter blue. But for TFA, The Force Awakens, this will be a good blue for you. You can keep that blue there. Let me say, the flashing class in this case is standard, so it's like purple, pinkish. Actually, it's not purple. I actually have surprisingly little phantom or ghost swings, which is a common issue when you put the sound on the highest volume. The soundboard will pick up the trembling of the speaker and then starts to initiate fake sound swings, which is not the case on mine. I have no issues. Once that happens, it only happens when the battery starts to drain and starts to get to a point where it's not full enough to provide all the power needed for the board to keep that the swing motion to a certain level before it engages swing sounds or splash sounds. So I don't have it with the full battery. With a lower battery I do have it as well. Some people put the sound a little bit lower because the 22mm speaker is very loud, and that can cause with certain sound fonts to have that ghosting of sounds being replayed automatically. But with the Bespin 2 sound font, I really love it. I don't have any of those issues, and it's responsive too with this sound font. But I'm sitting here in a space, very confined space, so I can't really show you. I just toggle one more time through the colors that I have here. Just the standard colors. This is a minty green, very nice. A purple or something in that line. This purple is, by the way, super bright. This is the brightest color I have of all the colors. It's straight up purple. I really like this color. It's really nice. Because it's a little bit strange though. With RGB, this is my brightest color. My red is definitely not as bright as my Sun Crusher red from Vader's Vault. So if you want RGB, please be minded that the brightness may be dimmer. Period. People may say that it's nearly as bright. I don't think so. But that's personal opinion, of course. This is a white mixed with a very light shade of purple or pink, and then we have a green. This is like a minty green. I like this color a lot. I'm a big fan of mint green, acid green, mint green. This is a very nice green. I love it. Then we have red. Red is a very nice red. It's brighter than the blue that comes standard on this Hilt, on this RGB setting from Vader's Vault, but it's not as bright as my Sun Crusher red. Definitely not. Now it's currently running off one die, so the red die is on, the other two dies are off. So you have a 3-watt light beam going to the reflective tip now. This is a single red die to the tip, because this is an RGB, red, green, blue LED. So only the red die is on now. And yeah, it's okay, but it's definitely not as bright as my Sun Crusher red. This is sort of orangey. It's not, I don't think it's really Tor orange, but it's a nice orange. Nice red orange. I wouldn't say blood orange, it definitely leans towards the orange itself on my face. And then we have like a salmon color, like a light shade of orange. And then we have the typical green. Now the green, I also did not find it very bright. Normally the green color is a very bright color, but in this case I don't feel it's that bright compared to the Saber Forge Katano, the Ashoka Tano blade that I have with green. That one is definitely way brighter than this one, than this green. And then we're back to blue. So we have 10 color fonts, as you might know, and we just toggled through all of them. I also set the power off button to be more responsive, so I have to press it shorter because I just like to ignite it and shut it down much quicker. I'm not going to heavy duel with it, although it's being set up to do heavy dueling with it. And that also ties into my next point. Although it's being configured by Vader's Vault as a heavy dueler, I'm not going to do any heavy dueling with it. The bunny ears are on the pivot. with some heavy dual strikes on it, it might damage the opponent's blade. It's still the same Graflex kits from Park Saber / Core Bond. I don't think they're particularly well made for heavy dueling, especially with the grips being riveted on the bottom through the lower section of the hilt and then hold in place with double-sided duct tape. If you grip it really rough and move around, it will shift the T-strips over time, and then you have to undo it, put a new double-sided duct tape under sticker on it, and then reapply it. So I personally think it's not really a heavy dueling saber, but it can be used for heavy dueling for short periods if you want to. But I'm not gonna do that with the amount of money I've spent on this saber. I cannot say how much in love I am with this hilt. This is my favorite saber, period. This is my favorite sabers, period, because The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie. Everything, every aspect of it is just yeah, that's my thing. It hunkers back to The Empire Strikes Back to me. This hilt has the most significant value to me, being from that movie, being from Luke's, well, Anakin, but in that case, in that movie, Luke Skywalker. I just like the configuration of it. I like the double red button over the glass eye. I like it should be, I think, a gold activation bar instead of a silver one, but I'm not gonna change it out. I can go to Wonka Wonga, get an accurate clank card, replace it, but I don't do that. I just keep it as is. I'm happy with it, and yeah, I cannot stress out how happy I am with this saber. This is the essence of a lightsaber for Star Wars. This is where it began with, and this is a lightsaber. This is the birth of lightsaber. So yeah, having one of these in your collection is basically a must if you're a big Star Wars / lightsaber fan. Just grab one. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. You just keep it empty if you want to, or you do a cheap stunt install or whatever. You don't have to spend tons of money on a crystal review and a crystal focus and Spark 2 soundboard or whatnot. You don't have to do that. You can just keep it empty. It's still amazing hilt. It's really truly amazing hilt. Fantastic. It feels solid, nice weight. It's just wow. So that's gonna wrap it up, guys. I hope you liked the video. More videos will follow, of course. And next week I have another review for another lightsaber. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay scummy.